Hey, welcome to the Bourbon Shop. My name is Keith, and this is 1233 Distilleries. Now, they are located in Little River, South Carolina. And I came across this distillery because I was on vacation visiting with family. And I have this thing, if I go out of town or out of state, I like to check out that state and see what they have going locally with bourbon. See if I can find a small distillery and see what they have. Because when you do that, sometimes, you are pleasantly surprised. And here, this was a pleasant surprise that I found in South Carolina. So I want to share some of the story with them, about them rather, and talk to you about the juice that they're producing. Okay? So 1233 Distillery, located in South Carolina. I thoroughly enjoyed my visit there. Unfortunately, we were not able to take part in the tour of the distillery, but we did hang out in the dining area. The staff was so hospitable and nice, clean. The food was excellent. They had some really nice, unique cocktails, original recipes, and the sampler was pretty good too, which I can tell you I thoroughly enjoyed their sampler. Now, I was fortunate to meet the owners of the distillery, husband and wife team, Kevin and Rebecca Osborne. Kevin started his days of crafting beer in his college days as a hobby, but that hobby grew into a passion, and I'm glad it did because he's producing to me some very fine bourbon. So here's part of the conversation we had.
Corn, 28% wheat, 7% rye, and the rest malt.
Okay.
So it's going to have a profile fairly similar to, like, if you're a fan of Weller or Pappy,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So it's that heavily wheated mash.
I love wheated bourbon.
Yeah, me too. That's why I do them.
Yeah.
And then so Big Six is more of the traditional Kentucky style bourbon. It's 90 proof. It's aged on Appalachian Char 3 oak. Double oak, we take our Big Six, aged 4.5 years, and then we secondary age it another 6 months on toasted French oak.
Okay.
So it gets a lot more of that vanillin in there. You get a lot more of that vanilla and caramel and baking spice.
Yeah.
You can see it's actually a little bit different, a little darker in color too from the secondary aging. Doc's Coughlaw is the big boy. So that one is unfiltered. It's a post-prohibition style bourbon. So it's unfiltered, 107 proof, and it's been double oaked the entire time in the barrel.
Did I try that?
So when we, if you haven't, we'll certainly give you a sample of it. So when we barrel it, we put in 20 pounds of charred oak cubes, which doubles the oak surface, doubles the tannins, doubles the wood sugar. So it's super big and oaky and complex.
Okay.
So the guys that like the foolproof, full barrel proof bourbons, it's right up their alley. It's going to be right in with the other 107s. Like if you've had Weller Antique 107, similar in style. It's just we double oak it too.
Okay.
So, and then Restitution Rye, or rye whiskey, is, I'll call it a light rye. We call it a gateway rye because it's a 51% rye mash. So it's a lot less spice than the traditional ryes. More approachable for people that don't like the super spicy rye.
Okay. You do everything here?
Everything. Yeah.
So you never sourced? Or did you
Oh, we
source
did.
it?
Yeah. Absolutely. Because you kind of have to. Right?
Yeah.
So we did a custom blend with MGP. Initially,
Yeah.
but it would match to our mash bill.
Sure.
It's 4 grain. So it's then we were able to just roll right into.
Was it a big difference when you stopped for it?
No. It's very similar, and it's because the mash was the same. I mean, really, the only difference is, we do sweet yellow corn, we do soft red winter wheat. The difference is the rye. So we use Ren's Abruzzi rye, a locally sourced here. But honestly, mash bill, it's so similar.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. So now, where do you distribute?
Just South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just South Carolina.
Okay. Right.
So, and unfortunately, as I'm sure you're well aware, Michigan is one of those states that does not allow spirits to be shipped in. Which is a little bit of a bummer. But, So if you want to take some home, you got to throw it in your You guys flew.
Oh no, we flew, but we're gonna check some bags.
I was gonna say you can put up to 6 bottles in a check bag.
Yeah, it's
so that's
okay.
the
We're gonna
benefit.
check. We're gonna check. Cause there's a couple I want to get. Huh?
We already have 4 bottles.
Okay. Well, we want to get a couple more. Check a couple more bags.
It's more spirits, right?
Yeah. So you might have picked up in the conversation that they have a system here that is from grain to glass, which is fantastic. But they did not start off that way. Okay, so they started off with source whiskey, which is why source whiskey is such an important part in the bourbon industry. Now they were able to branch off from that and do their own thing, but some distilleries or owners of bourbon, they stay with the source whiskey as long as it's, preference to how they want their bourbon to taste, which is fine. But it's really something when you can transfer from that and do your own thing and go from source, rather from grain to glass. And they also, all the products they use, the grain, the corn, the wheat, everything comes from South Carolina right there. So it's a nice community effort in producing this whiskey. So now let's get into the juice. Let's review it, let's smell it, let's taste it. Let me tell you what I think about it. Let's start off with this one here. 1213 Big Six Straight Kentucky Whiskey. Big Six Straight Bourbon. It is at least 2 years old, hence the word straight bourbon, and it is a 4 grain of corn, wheat, rye, and malty barley. The price is $32.49, and it's coming in at 90 proof. All right, Big Six Straight Whiskey. Now this is pretty young. And you can tell the color is pretty light, but it does hang on to the glass pretty decently for a young spirit. Got like a medium honey hue to it. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into the nose. Now, seeing that this is the youngest, it's really kind of light, but it has a nice amount of sweetness to it. Nice honey, vanilla, and you also get like a graham cracker with this. A light hint of brown sugar. Not bad for a very young bourbon. One thing I like about this, that it doesn't smell grainy. It doesn't have that youthful smell that sometimes a 2-year age bourbon can have. Let's go to the palate. So on the palate, it has a thin mouthfeel, but yet and still it has a slight oily mouthfeel as well. So it's kind of thin, but to be this thin, it sticks to your palate decently for a thin liquor. I'm getting some light oak out of this. There's the youth right there, because you get a little bit of the ethanol kicking in, and it's really warm. But you're also picking up some caramel, some vanilla. I'm going for one more sip. And it has a certain sweetness to it, like it's a cereal. It's called, what is it? Corn Pops? Corn Nuggets, Corn Pops. I think Kellogg makes it. I don't know. Help me out, people. What is that? Leave it in the comments. Corn Pops, Corn Nuggets, something like that. They just yellow nuggets of corn, I guess, but it reminds me of that. So it's not bad for what you're getting. Okay, so for the price at 32 something, I would like for it to be a little lower than that, but understanding that this is a smaller distillery, and so they don't have the barrels of thousands and thousands of barrels where they produce high volume of it to keep that price low. And that's the thing with craft distilleries, they got to make a profit. So understanding that, I'll give this a thumbs up for that. And I think it's priced decently for what it is. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Dot Scofla is a prohibition style bourbon, 107 proof. It is a 4 grain heavily wheated mash bill. It's double oak, since that from the time that they barreled this, they added about 20 pounds of charred oak cubes to the barrel. and it retails for $59.95. All right, so let's just give this one a nose. Oh, this is much richer than the straight Big Six straight bourbon. Yeah, much more layers in this one. So this nose, I'm getting a nice amount of raisin or dates. It's sweet. That wheat, because it's a heavy wheated bourbon, that sweetness is really coming through. Get a nice amount of oak, honey. You get some brown sugar, but there's something this like a doughy sweetness, like a cookie dough, something like that. Yeah, that's a pretty nice nose. Really nice nose. Nice legs too. So to the palate, yeah, that's a nice warm mouthfeel. It's coming right at that 107. You can taste that in there. That's a nice proof for it. It works. Give you a nice hug, which I love. But it's like candy sweet, man. It's really, really sweet. And so when they say heavy wheated, because you know that wheat that comes across sweet, wheated bourbon, although it's not a wheated bourbon, it's, well, you know, it's a 4 grain, but it gives you that nice rich mouthfeel. Let me go in for another one. Yeah, nice caramel. You get that dates or that raisin, that dark fruit, honey. It's nice and rich, and you get a nice, well, Carolina hug. Yeah, this is pretty good too. And I think it's pretty good for the price. What did I say that this price was at? I forget what I said. Oh, $59.95. And I'm okay with it. Again, if it was a little lower, I'd be okay with that. But understand that this is a small distillery. That's good. I would say $45, you know, if it was a larger distillery. But I like this. Definitely would get this one again. And the finish is pretty decent too. For a heavily wheated bourbon, it's coming along with a nice amount of spice on the back end with this finish. So a nice spice and maybe that oak that you can pick out. So yeah, not bad. I'm telling you, I really like this distillery, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do years to come. Say when they start getting into the single barrels and things like that. So keep your eye on this one. Let's move to the next one. Big Six Double Oak. It is a 5-year age statement, finished for 6 months with toasted French oak spirals. And it is 58% corn, 26 wheat, 7 rye, and 9% malty barley. It is 90 proof, and the retail is $49.95. Okay, I think this is the darkest of them all. And you see the double oak process they take, maybe that has a lot to do with it. So clinging to the glass pretty good. Let's go ahead and nose this. Oh yeah, this is totally different from the last one. It's definitely darker. It's sweet as well. Nice corn sweetness. Nice hint of vanilla. It's cakey, like a vanilla cake. A vanilla sponge cake, almost like a Twinkie. Okay. It has a nice citrus note to it. I can't determine if it's more orange or grapefruit, but it's a nice citrus note. And you get a nice amount of honey along with this as well. Get the oak. Definitely get oak. Nice amount of brown sugar. Okay, nice and sweet. I think this is the best one by far. Oh, it's 90 proof. It drinks pretty good. So you get that vanilla cake again on the mouth. Some kind of nice frosting, like frosting on the cake. Say if you had a lemon cake, a nice frosting on the cake. It's oaky. It's very sweet and fruity. Has a good oily cling to your tongue and your jaws. Man, it's Pretty good. Nice brown sugar. Pretty good on the caramel. Nice finish. $49.95. I would keep it right there. That's a good price. That's a really good price. I might even pay a little bit more for this one. This is a pretty good price. So this again, this is I would recommend anyone who travels. If you got a moment to stop and seek out a distillery in the local area, you may be surprised as well. So let's bring it back out and close out. Okay, so this is how I would pretty much rate it. First, second, third. Definitely I would buy. Definitely buy. A buy and maybe. Okay, and that's the way I see it. But although that's a maybe, it's not that it's a bad choice. It's just with the price and the other things that's out there. But again, this is unique. It has a unique flavor to it. Each state just has their own unique funkiness when they are distilling their own product from grain to glass, and this is a testament to that. So if you're interested though in maybe ordering this, you can go online, because I don't think they have this outside of South Carolina, but there's a online there. You can go to Top Tier, TOPTIER, Top Tier, and I think you can order it there if you want. And if you do, let me know. Let me know what you think about it. If you had this, please let me know what you think. And if there's a small craft distillery in your area that I can get my hands on through order, let me know what it is so I can experiment and reach out and see if I can get some of their juice on the show as well. So that's it. I appreciate you all spending your time with me here at the Bourbon Shop. As always, I would really appreciate if you like the channel, subscribe to the channel so I can do much more and can grow in 2024. I'm looking to doing this for a long time because I enjoy it. So I hope you enjoy it as well. So as always, the best way to drink your bourbon is to drink it the way you like to drink it. The best way to drink it is in a responsible way, which never means shots. Never, ever means shots. Okay, that's just me. No shots. So see you next time on the Bourbon Shop.